Once the players exit the mine and activate the beacon, Cronus is gonna arrive to pick them up. He's gonna be brandishing a kind of a high-tech, scary-looking pistol on his gun belt. He's not pointing it at anybody, but it's clearly like charged up all the way so that it's an intimidation tactic, because Cronus, while he's not planning to screw the players, he is preparing for the players, screwing him over and not giving up what they've discovered in the caves. And Cronus is someone who can easily spot when he's being lied to and bullshitted, so it's a good idea to be, straight with him, and especially since he has that pistol, it definitely looks like something that'll, like, blow your head into a million pieces if he decides to, draw and, and see what you guys are made of. Cronus will gladly grab the artifact that you guys found, and he's going to pay you exactly what he promised. However, the currency he is paying you in is going to be in Eternian gold coins, and those are worth 10 times their regular value here on Loridos, so the players can have fun just spending it willy-nilly, getting drunk or whatnot, in the local bars, or buying any sort of equipment they might find in the marketplace of the town. Though it's something that even Cronus will kind of point out to them not to flash their money around, because that's going to attract the actual scum and villainy of the galaxy that are residing in Loridos to jump them and rob them of all their money. Cronus is going to fly the players back into the town of Loridos. He's going to tell them that he plans to stay on a kind of a higher ledge in the mountain range for a better signal, because he needs to do some correspondence all throughout the night. So the players will have the time of the entire day and all the way up until the next crack of dawn. Cronus is going to give them little transponders, like walkie-talkie type gadgets, so that they know that he'll contact them, and they'll also know his location at all times if he tries to, like, screw them over or something. But Cronus is very sincere in the fact that he is looking for added help and added workforce, and the players have definitely proved themselves very valuable in being able to find this jade artifact. Once the players are left into the town of Loridos, they have, like I said, a lot of time on their hands to spend how they wish, whether to hang around with NPCs, hang around with Sheriff Riolus, or just, shop, or just take long rests and make sure you're healed up and all that sort of nice stuff. However, during this time, let's say right around the time the players would have gotten a long rest and would be all healed up, something is gonna happen. It would be the best choice that Sheriff Riolus would be wherever the players are at the time when shit goes down, so that everything fits perfectly. When all of a sudden they're gonna hear the kind of church bell ring loudly and repeatedly, and they're gonna hear yells from outdoors of "Raiders! Raiders!" And this is gonna happen in the evening, in the evening sun, that very warm yellow evening sun casting long shadows everywhere, being very thematic and atmospheric. And Sheriff Riolus is gonna react very quickly to this alert, and he's gonna, like, slam his fist on the table and just look at the players and, like, "Let's go!" And if the players choose to, they can of course just bail and make it for Cronus's ship, in the mountain range, but it's going to be a long trek to travel on your own, and also if you're at all heroic, you can expect something good to come out of helping Sheriff Riolus and the community against raiders. And also, if you're kind of a selfish character, you can also expect some sort of a payment from Sheriff Riolus when all this is done. Now, when the players get to, like, a higher ground or something where they get to, like, use binoculars or whatnot, they'll notice that in the horizon there is a very large dust cloud, almost like a dust storm brewing, as a kind of a Mad Max-style wasteland savage tribe is on its way to come to the town and raid it bare. These wasteland savages, like I said about Mad Max, they're very much like these movie punks, these kind of splatter punks from RoboCop or the Mad Max, characters and such. They're riding, mechanical jet bikes that go like 100 miles per hour, and they're all like cackling maniacally, like for the joy of pure evil and violence and savagery, and they're having the time of their life, even though they're of course kind of destitute and desperate to raid places like Loridos, which is already very poor. The Raiders are going to attack the town, at which point you can give the players the town map, which is pretty much like a kind of a drag race track. There's a lot of places to circle around with jet bikes and kind of go into different paths and all that stuff. And the kind of map is designated with different buildings being either 2-story buildings or 1-story buildings. And this, of course, means that if the players are stationed on 2-story buildings, they can see further, but their range might be, compromised with some of their weapons, and the other way around on 1-story buildings. But if they want to scope out, these oncoming attackers, that's something you can do on rooftops. Or if you want to hide in like alleyways and have like ready actions to like clothesline somebody who's coming with a jet bike at high speeds, there's a lot of opportunities. Really like Conan the Barbarian Battle of the Mounds kind of climactic scene where you can hide behind and between the buildings and do some nifty stuff. This conflict is designed to be just a fun thing, and it's not designed to be very lethal. The stats for Sheriff Riolus is going to be also available to the players, and while the Dungeon Master is going to be role-playing the character, the kind of tactical maneuvering and everything having to do with combat is in the player's hands. The players can choose who gets to use Sheriff Riolus's turn, and you can show his stats to the players. He's very kind of basic, AC 16, 50 hit points, and all that stuff. He's not very strong. He's just like strength modifiers and dexterity modifiers are around, either 2 or nothing, but wisdom is a bonus of 1 and stuff. But yeah, he has 3 actions he can do in combat. He can shoot his pistol with just, aiming regularly when it's a normal pistol shot, basically. Or he can fan his pistol, where he's going to be doing a lot more damage, a lot more rolling like multiple d4s, 5d4 plus 4. Of piercing damage, but it's only going to be at 15 feet, whereas a normal aimed one is going to be like all the way up to 90 feet. So, if you're on rooftops of 2-story buildings, aiming the pistol is more preferable, but if you're like between buildings on like the ground floor, it's much more pleasing to just fan the pistol, just like really like unload like in a cowboy movie or something. And also he has a melee attack, a lariat, which is a kind of a pro wrestling style punch you do with the entirety of your whole arm, and you do it while lunging forward so that both you and your target fall to the ground, and that's also taken into consideration with this attack to where both you and the target, both Sheriff Riolus and the target, are going to fall prone after he pulls off the lariat on somebody. And the attacking Wastelanders, they're going to be using the stats of goblins, and their leader is going to be using the stats of a bugbear. There's going to be 10 goblins worth of Wasteland Savages and 1 bugbear. The jet bikes are going to be just regular large mounts. They have AC of 18 and 10 hit points. And if you shoot at the actual mounts and you manage to get it to 0 hit points, the mounts are going to explode gloriously in a fireball like in a movie, and they're going to take the rider with them. The jet bikes also have a minimum move of 50 feet. They have to always move at least 50 feet with them, and the maximum move is 100 feet. So they're very fast, but they're very cumbersome. They're pieces of junk, basically. They're not appealing for any player character to pick up. They're super heavy, and they're not going to be like able to fit one of these jet bikes into Cronus's ship later on when you're going to be leaving for further work with him. But it's good to make a mental note. If jet bikes are cool, make a mental note of it, and you might get actually actually well-working one later on from like factory fresh or something. These are just pieces of junk. And you can also, the goblins can perform a ramming attack with them, and that's going to be very devastating, a 6d6 bludgeoning damage, but the rider is also going to take the same amount of damage and most likely fly off of its seat, so it's not like preferable, it's a very kamikaze kind of thing. And also, if the Wastelanders are kind of depleted to somewhere like, let's say, half of their number, they're just going to retreat, even though they're going to be cackling maniacally while retreating as well. It's not like they're not on a suicide mission, they're on a raid, they're looking for supplies and food and all sorts of knickknacks like that. Shit to sell forward and to consume and to raid another place perhaps in the near future. And also, once this whole thing is done, once the raiders have been defeated, it's time for Sheriff Riolus to basically like make good on his promise of basically like the, or rather the kind of insinuated promise of a reward after it's all done. After the raiders are defeated, after they return home, and after everything, after the villagers are kind of like letting out a major exhale of a relief, the players are brought to the sheriff's office, and Riolus is going to give them basically these. He's going to give them like a whiskey shot, and you can like say that this is going to basically heal the players all the way up if they expended a lot of their resources and their like health and all that in this combat. If they manage to get themselves really beat up, you can like say that, oh, this is such a good whiskey shot that it gives you like the long rest's worth of like stuff, or if there's still time, the players can still spend just long rest in the town. Riolus is going to give all the players a kind of a deputy's star as just a token of his gratitude and just kind of as a memorabilia kind of thing. But all of these deputy stars, also something to just like pin on the inside of your coat or something like that, are gonna have like a very high frequency radio signal to any lawman on Loredos. So it's something where if the players are in trouble, or if Sheriff Riolus is in trouble, they can always contact one another without any problems, really. And he's also going to dust off something that's a kind of a family memento that he wants to give onward to the players. He says that his own hands are so messed up from like having to like punch people, the scum and villainy causing trouble in saloons and the like all throughout the years, that his hands are so like busted up that he can't handle a lot of recoil, which is why his revolver is like a phaser gun that has 0 recoil. But he has a memento that he inherited from his father, who was like a priest in Loredos back in the day, but the evil horde killed him during their horrible takeover of the mining operations in this town. He brings up a crate, and he dusts it off and opens it, and inside is going to be Father Justice. It's going to be a grenade launcher, magic weapon that basically is a necklace of fireballs, with the only difference being that there's a like grenade launcher shaped kind of apparatus that you have to fire the grenades out of, the kind of fireball spheres out of, and regularly in a necklace of fireballs you get to roll a die to see how many third level fireballs you can actually throw off of it. But here there's only going to be 3 grenades, and those grenades are all going to cause a level 3 fireball. But the players are still at 2nd level, so this is a pretty nice little boon to give them, and you don't want to overpower them. It's just something to give the players to keep in their back pockets for rough situations that they they always have the option of just fireballing stuff into smithereens. And of course, it's the same design of a grenade launcher as the one that Arnold uses in Terminator 2, so of course, imagine the soundscape and the fireball size and all that stuff as you've seen in Terminator. But after the players have received all of these things and they've been taken care of and all that stuff, in the morning, Sheriff Riolus is gonna congratulate them on getting employed out of this hellhole and this dead end town, even though he loves it personally. But he's gonna congratulate the players and kind of see them off, and Cronus is gonna come and pick them up as he promised.